You don't need a movie theater.
I'm just saying, like, I need to know something. Like, my stocks are being affected in the movie theater industry as well as in real estate. Like, I want to know when these joints are going to open back up.
Send a note to the CEOs of the company to see.
They don't know. They're waiting for the legislators. It's up to the lawmakers to decide.
Are back. Welcome to Commerce and Chill. I am Jessica Johnson Cope.
I'm Waleed.
And we are commercing and chilling with you today. But what are we talking about today, Chief?
What's the new normal?
What is the new normal? People keep talking about the new normal like the old normal was cool. I mean, the old normal was what it was, but it's not the new normal because we're not living in normal times. So what do you think about the new normal, Chief?
What is normal?
I take your advice. From now on, I'm normal.
I don't know.
You want me to look it up on the Urban Dictionary?
No, I've had enough of you in the Urban Dictionary.
You know I have a love for words.
Yeah, and it's like, it's the new normal. I don't know. People are like, oh, it's the new normal. What is normal? People compare one thing to another. Oh, this is what's normal. This is what's not. That person is not normal. This person is. Maybe you're not normal. Maybe that what you think is normal is really not normal. Maybe it's just all an illusion. But whatever it is, you just need to keep adapting and changing. So now we're post-COVID.
But for those of you who don't know, we are based in New York City. We rep the Bronx and Brooklyn all day, every day.
The epicenter.
And so we are at the epicenter of the virus, at least what was considered the epicenter.
Now it's safe.
Infection rates have dropped dramatically. And so now we're able to reopen the city.
Phase 2.
So what's happening now that we're at the phase 2 of reopening NYC, Chief?
What are they opening restaurants now, barbershops, hair salons, nail salons? I think restaurants can like do only outside seating. How is that going to affect the city? People putting tables on sidewalks?
Well, people putting tables in gutters.
Yeah, because they can put them in the street now. So like what happens to traffic? What happens to parking spots? It's just interesting. I don't know, was it like urban planning? I just would love to be a fly on the wall in some of these rooms when they make these decisions and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And they're like, all these businesses can get like apply for sidewalk permits or sidewalk cafes, what they're called. I think they said the other day, like I heard something on the news, like some 3,000 businesses applied for these things. I'm just like, so where do people walk? And like, okay, so we put the tables on the sidewalk. Cool. Then they're like, all right, we're going to put some in the street. And then they're talking about closing off some of the streets. So I'm just like, so how do people get by? Like, how do people drive? You close the streets for tables. They're closing the streets for people to go exercise in the street for the oh, man.
And just keep in mind, New York City has what's considered to be the largest metropolitan transportation system in terms of the number of people that commute every single day. And the transit agencies have instructed people not to take public transportation as much or to practice social distancing. So that means that fewer people are able to ride at one time in any train, car, and any bus. So what's the alternative? If we can't take the train, we can't take the bus, we're going to drive. But we can't drive down certain streets because now you have restaurants using the street, the gutter, to seat people because they haven't opened up to indoor seating as of yet. So it just, like you said, it sounds like an urban planning nightmare.
Yeah, let's not forget the subways are shut down between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. So, that presents a whole nother challenge for our team members who get off at midnight or go to work at midnight or go to work at 1 a.m. and they take public transportation. Yeah, so, and the city hasn't said anything about, when that's going to go back to whatever, some regular train running schedule between 1 and 5 a.m., which is, I don't know. I think it's an important time for public transportation to be running. They have shuttles and all this, but I got a team member I was on the phone with the other night, and they got off work late, and they were like, the trains aren't running. They live in the Bronx. They work in Queens. I'm like, yeah, send an Uber for you. Like, how many more Ubers can I send?
Right.
I don't know.
You shouldn't be penalized and have to spend money just for going to work, especially not when you're considered
essential. But
guys,
that's another podcast.
Have a conversation. But what we wanted to talk to you about today is if you're a business owner or if you are an employee and you're getting back to work, your business is reopening, you're jump starting what was on pause since March. What does reopening look like to you? Any thoughts on that, Chief?
Well,
is that a yes or a no? You had
I can think of so many different things. We're talking about reopening.
Yes.
And then we have to break it out and say, is it a business that's reopening because they had to close, like a nail salon, a barbershop, or a beauty salon? Mm-hmm. Or is it a business who had like a restaurant or some kind of food service who couldn't do indoor seating, but they just said, you know what, I'm just going to close anyway? Or I know some laundromats and dry cleaners. They just closed. Mm-hmm. They were essential, but they closed. They chose to close for whatever reason. That their team members couldn't come in or wouldn't come in because they wanted to collect the unemployment because legislators decided to make a bonus on unemployment. So some people were like, I'd rather just stay home because I'll make more money sitting home than I will going to work. Which I get it, I respect it, but short-term thinking over long-term. Now what happens when that runs out or the bonus goes away and then you need to pay your bills and then your employer ends up hiring someone else because you chose to sit on the sideline versus going back. But that's another topic. So if we're talking about reopening, mm-hmm. The thing is, like, If you're in an industry or business that was truly closed, that had to shut down, there was no modified, way of working. The thing is, like, what were you doing prior to the reopen? Like, did you pivot and do something else to somewhat support? Like, a good example is barbershop I go to. Shout out to Adrian and Tim. They were making masks during the shutdown. They have barbershop. There's no way they could open at all. There was no other, sidewalk service or anything they could do. So they had to close. So they pivoted. They did masks and they sold them online. They shipped them. And from what I can see, it looks like they did pretty well. With them, they were sold out. I even reached out to try and get some for our team members here. And they were sold out. So it's reopen time. The thing is not what are you doing now to reopen. The thing is really what were you doing to prep for the reopen, which we talked about before. And I tell you right now, if you're in a business who's closed, you should be prepping right now to get ready for when it's time to come back online. You should be contacting your vendors, people in your supply chain, and you should be stocking up on everything you need to run your business for at least 2 to 3 months. Like, were you on the phone or contacting your suppliers and your vendors to be like, hey, let me start stocking up on stuff because when I open up, that supply chain from my vendor is going to get taxed like heck because all these other people are going to be opening up the same time as I am. So if, I'm running a nail salon, like, I don't know what kind of supplies they need. Like, I don't know, nail polish, acrylic, tips. I don't know. Did they stock up on all that? Because they're like, people are going to run out the door. Like, if you think for a minute that people are just going to be like, oh yeah, everything is phase 2 or phase 3 or phase 4 or phase 15, however they decide to do this thing, in the long term, they're going back out. There's a population of people who are tired of sitting in the house. They're going to go outside because they don't care. Like, they're just like, I'm had enough. And then there's going to be another population of people who are going to still be a little, tentative and worried. So, yeah.
Well, you mentioned the word pivot, and that seems to be increasingly popular today in the business press.
Buzzword.
Yes, it is a buzzword. When we look up pivot in Merriam-Webster,
here we go.
It says to turn on or as if on a pivot. Right?
How do you use, like, that was one thing they told me in, like,
that you can't
grade
use
school.
The word
you can't use the word in the
definition.
the word in the definition of it. So what's Webster doing? I don't know.
Yeah, they're trying to make you think.
They're slacking.
The action of pivoting. Okay.
Yeah, that tells me a lot.
And so what a pivot is a shaft or pin on which something turns. So basically, turning around. How you turn around your life, how you turn around your business, how you turn around your future. So I like to think about the pivot with a 3-letter abbreviation M.P.A. M.P.A.
I have no idea what that means.
It stands for, if you're pivoting, you need to turn your mindset, turn your plan, and turn your actions so that you don't end up in the same place where you started. So what's your pivot M.P.A.? What's your pivot mindset, plan, and action? Because it's not enough to think the same way that you did before COVID. It's not enough to be haphazard. You need to have a plan. And then, as my buddy here says, ideas are
crap. Without execution.
Execution is everything. So you have to take action.
It's been adjusted. Wait for the new posts that are coming out.
Oh,
it's no
wow.
longer ideas are crap and execution is everything. It's ideas are crap without execution.
Okay.
Credit to Chris Cubby.
Shout out Chris Cubby. Also want to give a shout out to Vanessa Lindley.
Is this a shout out episode?
Well, no, yes, no. But Vanessa.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my mom for giving birth to me. I'm gonna give a shout out.
But is your mom on IG?
No.
Is your mom on
I'll
Facebook?
give a shout out to my mother-in-law for birthing her. I'm gonna give a shout out to
Is your mother-in-law
whoever
on
invented
IG?
ice cream. I love it. I want to give a shout out to somebody. But go ahead, finish.
Anyway,
so shout out episode.
Leading up to
Shout out to the guy that
Juneteenth.
made this
If
microphone.
you don't know what Juneteenth
Or
is,
lady.
I don't know where you've been, what rock you've been hiding under. But leading up to Juneteenth, Vanessa had a 7-day series on economic resurrection. Why? Because the resurrection will not be televised. No one is waiting for handouts. If you bout it, you're going to get your... Why are you looking at me like
I'm waiting
that?
for you to finish. I'm listening.
You're going to get what's out there for you, right? Some of us are waiting for a stimulus check to come while others are stimulating our own economy. And so Vanessa, she hosted the Economic Resurrection where she had some great speakers talk about different aspects of economic development so that we can prepare the next generation for wealth. Because if you read the statistics, it says that I think by 2053, the net worth of Black people will be zero. Like that.
When
alone,
they say Black people, they mean like on average, or they mean all of us?
on average.
Oh, because I'm not going to zero. I'm just putting that on the record. I'm not going to zero. I'll add a few more zeros, but I'm not going to zero.
But the thing is, that's a pandemic in and of itself.
It's an economic pandemic.
It's an economic pandemic. We need to get our money right, and we can't depend on anybody else. I'm not lecturing. I'm just saying for those folks who
Sounds like you are.
woke, get your money together. So shout out Vanessa Lindley. Check out the content that she had. It's on Facebook. She has a Facebook group so you can see what she's been doing. Why? Because she had a mindset shift. She created her plan and she took action. She was like, I can't sit in the house and not do something about my people, not building net worth. And I have financial wealth education. I have tools to help. So what is your space where you have the tools to help somebody else move forward? How do you create a plan and put it into action? If you're not sure, holla at one of us. We can help you jumpstart those dreams. Might have to visit the drink truck. You know how I have food trucks?
Legit.
But not a food truck. It would be an adult beverage truck.
Oh my God, this is about to get really interesting.
And I will pull up in office buildings of people who are very stressed. And when it's time for them to leave, they could come, they could order a beverage.
So you have a drink truck.
The drink truck. The
Right.
JJ drink truck. But we can help you do that. So what was I going to say next?
I don't know.
What are you going to say next?
I wasn't gonna say anything. I'm listening to the M.P.A.
Mindset, plan, action.
Yeah, I'm just in the economic resurrection. from
Economic
Vanessa.
resurrection. So what are you doing for the economic resurrection, Chief?
Wait, first of all, economic resurrection means something died for it to come back, right?
You don't think something died?
Well, you said me. You asked me what I'm doing.
Okay.
There's no resurrection here.
Okay.
Like my foot has been on the gas since COVID-1. Like Like, we had a discussion today. One team member was like, listen, people have been in quarantine for like 3 months now. And whatever ideas or plans you had when we were talking with Hamlet, if you didn't execute it in those 3 months, I'm sorry to say, you're probably not going to do it. Because you had 3 months in the house not going to work. For those who are on true quarantine and didn't have to work from home, they were just on lockdown.
But what if they didn't have the financial resources? What if they had to homeschool their kids? What if they didn't have any help? What if they didn't know where to turn to get the information?
What if? There's always a reason not to do something. The question is, when are you going to stop listening to those reasons or coming up with them and just go do it? If you were sitting home for 90 days with all to do,
Whoa.
somebody beep that,
Please.
to do, you ordered takeout, you spent money on something that you probably could have said, you know what? I'm going to eat a box of pasta instead of getting Uber Eats, and they charge you a freaking delivery fee or Seamless, or they increased their fees during COVID. And people were still ordering. Look at the data they put out. All their orders spiked.
They did.
So my thing is, it's an opportunity. The question is, are you going to sit there and be like, woe is me? Or are you going to be like, this is a bad time, but we can do something during this bad time to make it positive? So yes, there needs to be an economic resurrection for us as a whole, but as individuals too, some of us should just keep our foot on the gas. What is it, Warren Buffett says, or some of the financial investors say, when you see people going in one direction, go the opposite way. Or you see people selling, maybe it's a time to be buying. You got to look at things different. So even if I'm sitting at home and I have this 90 days to do something, to build something, to do something with it, why not? Even if you it doesn't work, so what? I tried over 90 days or 60 days. And then the other 30 days I tried something else. And maybe that works. So when you tell me if this, that, and the third, I hear it, I respect it, but I'm like, there's a way. There's always a way.
So how have you pivoted in the laundry business? What have you done differently? What have you ramped up? What have you slowed down on? So how have you managed through COVID-19 and the challenges that come with it?
By doing more. We ran more ads. We created more content. We emailed more clients to let them know what we're doing, what we're not doing. Contactless deliveries. Our team members wear gloves. They wear masks. We opened up more routes to if people are home, time out. If we normally did pickup and deliveries during this time period, and now all of a sudden I know people are home all day. All it took was one person to text us when we were running behind on a delivery, and the person was like, no worries, I'm home all day. I got nowhere to go anyway because we're on quarantine. I was like, light bulb. Why are we not extending the routes? Why are we not opening up more routes? People are home all day.
So when you say opening the routes, what does that mean for the
expanding the delivery time? So let's go to previously when people were going to work,
times we
would have stopped at 11 in the morning because people are leaving to go to work, or they're coming home from the night shift and now they're going to sleep. So we go to 11 a.m. and then we start again in the evening. But people home for quarantine be like, listen, let's go to 2 p.m. And people are still making orders during those time frames. So if we didn't take the chance and open up more routes, we would have never reached those new customers because the people that they were going to previously were closed during COVID, right? So if the other laundries decide to close for whatever reason, I'm not judging or knocking it because they're essential. They could have been open by law, but they said, hey, for health reasons or safety reasons, I want to stay home. Or their team member said, I'm going to collect unemployment. I'm firing myself because I'll make more doing unemployment than I will coming to work. Respect. So because they didn't open, somebody gets on Google, they get on Instagram or Facebook, and because we're running more ads, we pop up because they're looking for who can I use because a place down the block or a place around the corner or the place underneath me because they live above the laundromat is closed. So because we did more when everybody else was pulling back, we were able to survive. We were able to continue the relationships with our current client base and then introduce some new customers to our service. Yes, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. What about on the security side? Can you briefly talk about what
The same. We did more.
Okay.
We did more. We
people an
ran
example.
ads. We reached out to more team members, right? We reached out to clients that we serve and say, how could we improve the services? We reached out to, first of all, some of it is relationships we've built for like 2-3 years. And then when the pandemic hit, they reached out to us and was like, hey, we need security services for this. And I was like, wow, 2 years later, because of a relationship 2 years ago that we've been nurturing over time with different colleagues and friends in these different industries. Now, when the pandemic hit, they got hit really hard and they were like, we need services. So send us 15 people per shift, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I'm like, no problem. They will come. Right? So it's about doing more. Sometimes we get caught up when things are bad. We want to retreat and go in a shell like a turtle when sometimes you need to stretch out and start moving.
And if you're not a business owner, if you're not an entrepreneur, understand that also applies for you. If you're an employee or someone who works a job, this is a perfect time to do a little bit more. I'm not saying that you spend 24 hours on your computer working, but do that stretch task that will put you ahead of your coworkers or competitors. Because what we're finding is as we have more opportunities, we reach out to people and people are not trying to put in the work. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. But no, for the long-term prospects, you're not going to be at the front of the line because people always want to make more money. I said, oh, I left my last company because I wanted opportunity. They didn't have any
I want to get paid more, but I don't want to do more. Like, how does that go hand in hand?
I want to work close. I want to work right next to my house.
I want to drive my car farther, but I don't want to put gas in it. Like, how does that work? Like, it's crazy. Like, why are you looking to leave your current job, or why'd you leave? Because they wouldn't pay me more. They wouldn't give me more responsibility. Okay, they come here, I give them more responsibility, and I'm like, what the?
Oh no, that's too much. You asking me to do too much. I'm tired. Oh, I gotta get up early. Oh, I get home late. Listen. Life is real, but ain't nobody got no time for that.
Okay, so COVID.
Business. Pivot. Reopening. As you reopen, remember the M.P.A. approach. Pivot with your mindset, pivot with your planning, and pivot with your actions. That'll best position you for new opportunities that will emerge as we come through this season of shutdown, as we exit the pandemic and the closures. Because this is just phase 2 here in New York. We're going to go to phase 3, phase 4 if everything is in order.
Is phase 4 the last phase, or is there more phase after 4?
That's the last phase. As I talk
so when are they going to open malls? Because I haven't heard that mentioned in phase 3 or 4 or movie theaters.
Please stay out the mall. You don't need a movie theater.
I'm just saying, like, I need to know something. Like, my stocks are being affected in the movie theater industry as well as in real estate. Like, I want to know when these joints are going to open back up.
Send a note to the CEOs of the company to see.
They don't know. They're waiting for the legislators. It's up to the lawmakers to decide.
Well, you reach out to the CEOs, have them put pressure on the people.
They talking to them. I'm trying to figure out, like, what's up with phase 3 and 4? Like, movie theaters, malls,
but long story short,
got some equity in
you
that.
do not have to wait until phase 3 open and phase 4 open, and you don't have to wait to the new half of the year. You don't have to wait to the new year. You can start now. NOW, right now. Ahora mismo. Start.
We just go
to
bilingual
pivot.
here.
Start to pivot so that you can end up light years ahead of the people that are sitting at home.
So your advice for businesses, for actions businesses should take now to adjust to the new normal is, you're saying, just do something now.
The M.P.A. first.
Okay, M.P.A.
Change your mindset, change your plan, change your actions.
I think they got that.
And start right now. The moral of the story is do something new and watch new things happen.
That's it.
Pivot, get your M.P.A. together, and then come back for the next episode of Commerce
Podcast and Chill.
Podcast and Chill for Commerce and Chill. Rate us, review us, tell your mama, tell your auntie, tell your friends, subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you on a future episode. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Jessica Johnson Cope.
I'm Waleed.
And we're out.
Thanks.